How do you sympathize with a 5'6", 130-pound gal with black dyed hair who can physically tear apart and bodily devour a 225, 6'3" gym bro type?
Quirked up white boy with a little bit of swag, busted down sexual style, is he considered goated?
Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and to all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. It is raining something fierce out there. Son of a gun. Necessary. We do need the fluid falling from the sky, a very good thing, but it's going to be fun to go walking in. Oh, joy. The spider up in the window, it looked like she had caught a bug this morning, but it could have just been her finishing up the center of her web. I'm not sure. Hopefully she caught a bug. That would be a good thing. And Ghost is, well, he's still being a good little hamster. He's running around. Well, he doesn't run. He moves around his cage, he burrows, he digs, he chews on cardboard, he does hamster stuff, but he also sleeps. Well, I mean, hamsters sleep a lot, but he doesn't sleep in a burrow. He still sleeps on top of his nest, and then just he breathes through his mouth. Ugh. But he seems to be doing okay, so that's good. And of course, front-loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. If you could leave me a comment, even for the algorithm, that would be double plus good. And I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and literally awesome people are, in fact, literally beautiful and literally awesome. Without their help, I and my pets would be hosed like literal Christmas monkeys. And trust me, that is no good way to be hosed. If you'd like to help me and my pets continue to stay alive, I have links to the Patreon in the video description, as well as a PayPal for donations, an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like cat food, and a post office box so you can send me anything you like. I'll open it up on camera if someone ever actually does, so that would be cool. Thumbs up for that. So yeah, front loading of videos over, and oy vey, yeah, yesterday was a day. I went to the library to get some printing done and still managed to mess up the printing, so I gotta go back and get some more stuff printed up and done. It happens. And then I continued because right now our library closes at 3 o'clock, so if I go up there to get printing, I gotta go up there early. And since I was up there, I just continued on my walk up to Walmart, got a whole bunch of stuff because my disability came in. And when I say a whole bunch of stuff, I mean it was a struggle to get it all into my backpack. I had a big box of the Value, ooh, my heart just skipped a beat, Value dehydrated potato flakes, and I had to smash the box to get it to fit into my backpack so I could carry it all. It was heavy, fun. But at least I went Walkies. I got wet, of course, but you know, that does happen. So, but it was good Walkies, and then I wanted to do some recording of like some solo RPG stuff, but I was so tired, physically exhausted, and then I did some actual falling asleep, though I didn't want to, and I became so time blind that before I knew what was going on, it went from 5 o'clock-ish when I got back in the afternoon to it was midnight, time to go to bed. So hopefully I'm going to get some recording done. I would like to do more note quests, this time maybe using the combat rules as they're written in the book, just so that people, if you're interested, can see the difference in how it runs. I mean, note quest is deadly. And looking again through 4 Against Darkness, yeah, the way I do combat is perfectly in line with how it's done in the book. It's just a different method of doing it that comes to the same result, and it works for my brain, so thumbs up on that. And yeah, I mean, you almost are combat gods as a first level character. I mean, you can be first level, you're fighting a 4th level character. Well, you have to roll a 4, 5, or 6 to hit. Well, you also add your level. First level character, well, that means you have to roll a 3, 4, 5, or 6 to hit. And if you have a sword with a plus, we have to roll a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 to hit. Hokey smokes. And you hit them, you know, you each hit, even the way I do it, it's like, oh, it does 4 points of damage, but they only have 4 hit points. So they still die the one hit, just like they do in the division method. So you're still mowing them down like a combat god. So hokey smokes, and I'm not doing that wrong. I've watched videos of other people playing like War Against Darkness, and yeah, you just mow through even the minions. So hopefully the bosses are going to be a challenge without being totally deadly. And I got the last two in the Dungeon Blitz. Well, there's only 3 of them in the Dungeon Blitz series since I did the first one for the channel here already. So, and I enjoyed it and it was fun. So I got the other 2. That was $6. Yay. So I've got the one of them printed out in that mass, and we'll see how that all goes. Thumbs up on that. Yay. Past that, yeah, I just watched videos, tried to play some video games. I did some more paint the town red because I'm just obsessed with the arena combat part of it. Because right now, I can get through, there's 10 arenas in the first challenge, and I can't get past the last level. It has 5 boss level characters, and I can't get through them. I get killed. But up to then, yeah, and I just use one weapon when possible, and that's just I kick. I run and kick. I don't stop running. I run at a crowd, kick somebody, run over the top of them and keep going, circle until my kick is repowered, come back as the ones getting up, kick them down again, and then circle the crowd. I can have a crowd of like 60 of them, and I just work my way slowly through the whole crowd, kicking one guy out of the crowd, and then every time he moves again, kicking him until he comes apart into pieces, and then rinse and repeat until there's nobody left, and then on to the next challenge. If I have to, I will use a weapon, just so there's a big prison type gym bro boss. They're fast as well as being tough, so it's dangerous to get close to them. Yeah, I gotta throw stuff at them, and that happens. But otherwise, I am just kick, kick, kick. Except for, remember, you have to fight smarter, not harder. There are a couple of challenges where all you have to do is run, and the pathfinding will lead them over spikes and they'll die. Or they'll lead them over fire and they die. So I just run around a spike pit, and then all the bad guys in like 3 minutes are dead. Or I run around a fire pit, and 4 minutes they're all dead, and all I had to do was run. But even that gets too deadly. Now the weirdest thing that happened yesterday is I went downstairs when I woke up here, getting closer to like 9 o'clock, and I was hungry, so I went down to make some potatoes with chili in them, and I forgot cheese, so I gotta go buy cheese. And I noticed that my lips and my tongue had been dyed a weird blue color, but I couldn't remember eating anything blue. In fact, I hadn't eaten anything that had blue in it. I'd eaten potato stuff, I'd had a couple donuts, but nothing that was blue. So why were my lips blue? Why was my tongue blue? It wasn't a lack of anything problem. I had oxygen. It was literally just dyed. And I ate some potatoes that weren't blue, potato chips that weren't blue. So the skin on my lips is dry and possibly dead and going to come off in sheets later. But it was dyed blue. The only thing I can figure, on my way back from Walmart, I drank a Pepsi Zero Sugar. That must have just had a massive amount of purple/blue dye in it. It was the weirdest thing. Thumbs up for that. Yay. Past that though, I have just been alive, and that's a good thing. I do want to talk about some of my cryptid stuff again, because, I mean, I do understand. I am a human being. I don't like, well, I've talked about how John Wayne Gacy, I felt that, he killed almost 40 men. I don't think he should have been breathing the same air that we did. People like Jeffrey Dahmer and all that, I don't like real life actual predators that do this stuff. And I have trouble with fictional anti-heroes that kill. I don't like that. So I understand that it's difficult to make a likable set of anti-heroes, especially if they're a species of anti-heroes that looks upon those they prey upon as just cattle, as the cryptids tend to look upon us. Now, it's not all of them, and it has not been forever. Urban, suburban, and even feral cryptids are like horrified largely at the activities of the urban cryptids, because the urban cryptids are the ones that treat people like cattle. Out in the rural cryptid areas, they grow up with them, they live with them. Even if they can't interact, the humans can't interact with them, the cryptids still grew up with them, know their names, grew up with them as children, even though they couldn't interact. They don't want to eat any of these people, and they're horrified that the urban cryptids would. The suburban cryptids, like Calvin Hillard, the one cryptid I've talked about, who married a human being and then later on, when she lost the fight with cancer, has been just in mourning ever since. He does not understand this new generation of cryptids that just eats people, thinks of them as cattle. Cannot understand, conceptually unable to. It's not their fault. All of their possibility and potential is funneled back at them as a species, as a people. They are shackled to us. They are just warped and distorted reflections of us, affected only by our hopes and dreams, fears and nightmares, our best and our worst. It's not really their fault, but at the same time, knowing it's not their fault, how can you go like, gosh, I like Polly. She's only eaten a lot of people. Because as Calvin Hillard, this old suburban cryptid, is talking about, he doesn't understand the new generation of cryptids. He has grown up with dark cryptids who have to eat human beings, that have, through the decades of their life, eaten fewer human beings than the newer generation, like Polly, who's eaten more human beings than the dark cryptids just this year. He doesn't understand them. How do you make that a relatable and enjoyable character? When, yeah, they've eaten, Polly eats like 28 or some odd people every single year. How do you make that enjoyable and fun as a character, knowing they do that? It is a challenge, but once again, it's like, who is evil? What is evil? Everything is relative. Deer think that wolves are evil, but without wolves, there aren't even any good deer colonies. They revitalized Yellowstone by putting wolves in it. It even brought the deer back. So cheetahs and all that, they prey upon gazelle. I bet gazelle sure look upon cheetahs and stuff as evil, and yet without them preying on them, there would be bad things happening. So relative to us, yes, cryptids are evil in that they prey on us. But again, I bet cows and pigs and sheep all think we're pretty evil because we don't just prey on them, we harvest them specifically so that they will die so we can eat them. From the viewpoint of our cattle, we sure look pretty evil, don't we? And in fact, in some cases, you even look upon it from the human viewpoint, and we still seem pretty evil. Relative to the cryptids, they do not hate humanity. At the very worst, it is just neutrality. Of course, everything is genetic. There are those that fall on one end or the other of the probability curve, with most people right in the middle. There are some cryptids that hate. There are some cryptids that do what they do specifically because they're on the far end and their genetics have made them who they are. So yeah, there are some that do very, very bad things from hate, but that's the far end of the probability curve. The vast, bulk, 99% more of cryptids, the most horrible feeling they will have is just neutrality. And that's usually just a positive neutrality. Largely the contempt that they will sometimes feel toward humanity is the contempt of familiarity. They know us. So relative to themselves, yeah, Polly is evil to us. And even a lot of cryptids have issues with her sort of viewpoint, which is we are there to keep their bellies full. Not just to eat when they're hungry, but just to keep your belly full. And yeah, it can be terrifying, these creatures. Like Polly, who's only about 5'6", looks like she weighs maybe 130 pounds. She's not very big. And cryptids, when they're not dealing with people, they have limiters on what they can do. You try to pick up a car if you're not in a panic emergency. You're not going to be able to lift up the end of that car. You see it fall on someone or a child's trapped underneath it, you're going to lift up the end of that car. It's going to tear you apart, but you can do it. We have those limiters. Cryptids have the limiters too. They wouldn't be able to lift up a car. But those limiters come off when they come across people and they're hungry. Polly couldn't lift up a car, but she has no limiters. If she's got hold of one shoulder and she grabs your arm and twist, rip, off comes your arm. So, and yeah, it can be terrifying. And how do you sympathize with a 5'6", 130-pound gal with black dyed hair who can physically tear apart and bodily devour a 225, 6'3" gym bro type, leaving nothing behind but blood, which she will lick up as much as she can off of the ground and her own body, because boy, we just taste too good to waste that. Yeah, that's terrifying. Relative to us. Relative to them, yeah, it's the only real sad part about it is, you know, they're gone and you can't eat them again. But it's, again, not out of hatred. Even though she doesn't need to eat humans to survive, it's not out of hatred. In her case, just absolute neutrality. She is unable to conceptualize that we feel and hurt and think and love just as she does. And it's not her fault. Because this is a human-centric system, it funnels back all the potential and power of their species back into them, turning them into the funhouse reflections of us, warped and distorted. They can't make these conceptual and contextual leaps. Polly, if she could, would be horrified at the pain that she is causing. Again, she advocates to end the chains of cryptid trauma for this exact reason. She hates that cryptids treat each other so poorly that we'll kill and eat each other, and with no authority, of course, there's no one to stop them, no one cares. She hates that. She wants that to stop. She's advocating for change, and she can't see that that is exactly what she is imposing on us. She would be horrified if she could. And of course, I've opened up 24 hours for the comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count in American Sign Language, well, I do my best, but my brain works. Let me call up my Chrome. We have The Truth. Thumbs up, and thank you very much. I agree. There's Stephen Blanchard. Greatly appreciated, and thank you very, very much. The Drunken Coward, who used to watch videos, hasn't for a while, but I do understand the issues they speak about in comments. I hope that they get checked for ADHD. There's Unknown Soul. Thumbs up, and thank you. Cake, greatly appreciated, and I do need to talk more about the thing that you had talked about in the cryptid stuff. My apologies that my brain didn't work today. We have Floramu, greatly appreciated, thumbs up, and always good to see you in the comments. Sebastian Ferris, whom I'm glad that is just busy and not actual, like, horrible things. Still, I hope it gets better for you. Thumbs up. Ben B, greatly appreciated, and hopefully I'll get some writing actually done, get it out of my head and into the world. Thank you very much, and good to see you. Chris, greatly appreciated. Thumbs up, thank you. Good to see you. Jesse Koskinen, thank you very, very much. Good to see you in the comments, and hopefully Note Quest Expanded World today, maybe even with the actual Expanded World hex crawling part. We'll have to see. And of course, with the duck head of scorn, this is just the pig of mockery. The lobster hat, of course, is the lobster hat of power. Thumbs up. Well, thank you very much. I've forgotten how many people that was, but it is greatly appreciated, each and every one of you. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only for a short time and if only in text. Thank you. I'm not going to be able to get much done today. I'm going to try, but it's really, really hard when I hear the rain. So I get into those sort of drowsy, daisy, I'm falling asleep-ish type of thing. Largely because I never get to sleep much, and that's a nice go-to-sleep sound. Thumbs up. Hopefully you can get done the things that you need to get done. That would be cool. And with all the things out there, please take appropriate precautions for your situation and your location. And if you hear the mournful howl of that bus horn through the night in the fog, this created cryptid has your name on it. You will eventually be smeared on the landscape. It won't be pretty, but at least it'll be impartial. So you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is, in fact, a very good thing.